Oh,
Alright, so we're gonna do this again. This is the QEQ. My name is Rachel.
Name's Marcus.
John, Kyle.
And we're gonna start with personal accountability and Marcus.
So pretty much, what happened to personal accountability? What happened to people taking ownership of their decisions, thoughts, and actions? It's really quick and easy for us to just point fingers at each other when things just pretty much don't work our way. Miller pretty much governs the entire book around taking ownership and asking right questions so that we can invest in the ability to make better choices. Far too often, I would say we just ask the wrong questions from the beginning. We ask questions where we point the blame at somebody else, or they just really don't solve anything. So my teammate Rachel is going to show you some examples of incorrect questions.
So here's Mr. Penguin. We have some incorrect questions for him. Where is Penguin not doing his job correctly? Where does he think he will get standing on this iceberg? And when is he going to do this presentation for me?
So asking the right questions is a great start, right? But putting yourself at the center of blame is not the right way to do it. And a quick example is like you have a team project and there's a paper due, and it's always that one person who just procrastinates the entire way through. It's almost time to like turn in the project. They submit some really shitty work, right? And then the team doesn't do so well, right? And then two things can happen, right? You either blame the person or you just start blaming yourself. Like, why didn't I step in and just cover the work for them? Or why didn't I just hit them upside the head when I knew that things were going the wrong way, right? So stress is an option, and I think that's a really powerful short sentence from the book because it's so true, right? The way we handle with unforeseen circumstances pretty much dictates our emotional response to anything, right? It reminds us that we are in control and that usually we do tend to go this more stressful route. So teammate John is going to talk to you more about procrastination and stress about.
So procrastination is, like he was saying, is a big factor in stress because what you do sometimes is that you take on tasks and you only do some of it, and then you're just like, or you don't even start it, and you're just like, it's all right, I have so much time, and I'll just do this later. And what that does to you is that it just all piles up to the very last minute, and sometimes that last minute is too late, and things just blow up in your face. And this was very well illustrated in the book by this one story that was involved father and son. The father had a piece of plate glass that he put up against a wall in the garage, and he knew he should have put that plate glass on a shelf in a place where it wouldn't fall on the floor and shatter. And that's exactly what happened because his son was playing in the yard and the garage was open and he made his way in there, and his son ran into a piece of glass and the glass fell on the ground and shattered, and his son fell into the glass, and as soon as he heard it crash, he rushed over and to see if his son was hurt, and luckily he wasn't, but he could have been extremely hurt, and he's lucky that he wasn't. So that just goes to show that when you just see things through and you're held accountable for your actions, you can avoid such problems in the future by just going head first and just finishing everything.
The author made a really good point about called the risk of doing nothing. He told a story about a leader he spoke to in a financial institution, and that leader told him how, especially in their field of work, you don't have guaranteed job security and you have to take risks. You can't just sit back and play everything safe, or you could seal your unemployment like it says up there. And this kind of builds up the procrastination thing we just talked about because, for example, like with school exams, if you wait till the night before to study and you just have 4 chapters of work to study and you just think it's impossible, you don't even want to mess with it, you just want to give up and not do anything. I mean, if you cram and pull an all-nighter, you can turn a 20% to a 40%, which might not seem like a big deal, but that's a pretty big difference in your grade. And nothing positive comes from just sitting there and accepting loss and not doing anything about it. And those are some of the key points on the side. Action, even when it leads to mistakes, brings learning and growth, where inaction brings stagnation and atrophy. Action leads us towards solutions, and inaction does nothing and holds us in the past. And action requires courage, and inaction indicates fear. And action builds confidence, whereas inaction is doubt. And another good point the author brought up was a story called Beat the Ref. And he talked about his father when he was a kid. He used to tell him before each wrestling match he had 3 people to beat that day: his opponent, himself, and the ref. and beating your opponent is pretty self-explanatory. You need to beat them to win. By beating yourself, you mentioned overcoming any anxieties or fears any athlete would have before a big match. And by beating the ref, you meant be so good that no matter how many bad calls the ref makes or how close the match is, that it doesn't affect the outcome. You're just better than that, to where things you can't control won't matter. And that's a really good quote the author had in there too. It says, no matter what we're trying to accomplish, there's always a barrier of some kind to overcome, and it's often something over which we have no control. Instead of focusing on the barriers, wasting precious time, talent, and energy, let's work to become so good that we'll succeed no matter how many bad calls the ref may throw us. And it's basically saying, instead of wasting all your time and energy bitching about calls and arguing with the referee, you can put that energy into making yourself better and practicing to where it won't matter what calls the referee makes. And he also brings up something he calls the ultimate QBQ, which is how can I let go of what I can't control.
All right, and so the whole point of this book was to come up with like guidelines for how you can ask the correct questions, how you can ask questions that are more appropriate and not blaming others. So the first thing to do is to begin with what or how, rather than why, when, or who. Second, you're going to contain I instead of they, me, or we, or you, because it's all about you. Only you can change yourself. And then lastly, you want to focus on an action. So whether it's doing something or figuring out something, understanding something. You want to think about no victim thinking and no procrastinating and not blaming others. Again, you can only change yourself and then take action, do something almost immediately. So Mr. Polar Bear has some QBQs. How can I be a better polar bear leader? What can I do to understand the penguin's reason for standing on the ice? And how can I communicate more effectively? And that is QBQ.
Well done.